arts, architectural, people who aren't artists at all, but love the arts or want to know more. This cultural institution is meant for every level of the community and invites all. And that's all I really have to say on that point. I want to turn it over now to Katie, one of our early and strong supporters.
Hi, I'm Katie O'Neill. I was just told about 5 minutes ago I was going to be speaking, so I don't have anything prepared, but I'm very excited to be a supporter of this project, be involved on the board, and what drew me in was the Center for Creativity, which I think there's nothing like that in Las Vegas. It's really going to be exactly the name, Center for Creativity. It's about design, it's going to be hands-on interactive programming, and I think you can learn a skill set, you can hone in on your skill set, and it'll be a fun place for, I think, all ages, all different levels of your skill. If you're new, if you're learning something, if you're advanced, and hopefully all economic backgrounds as well. So I think it's really going to bring design to the forefront here in Las Vegas.
Sam, where are you hiding, Sam?
I'm here.
Come on, come on, you gotta come forward, and Sam has also been an early supporter. When we said, gee, Sam, he's a developer, he has all this experience, he said, all right.
This is easy, I'm amongst friends, this is really easy. Everyone knows I live upstairs, I love being down here in the Arts District. Art changes everything. If you look up at the ceiling, Stephen Spahn is here somewhere, he did the ceiling up here, it changes the room. Eric Strain's out here, Peter from Gaia down the street, and if there's ever a way to measure a community, all these people now coming to the area and being vested and have a voice to want to do a project like this is amazing. So another key thing I think about the project is the board is really interactive, and they're really on top of looking at every different angle and decision that has to be made for the project. So it's a strong board, it works together well, and things are moving in the right direction. So, thank you.
Thanks. And then, Scott, if you don't mind, I'm putting you on the spot for a second. The City of Las Vegas is working with us in partnership to figure out how, with the mayor and Bob Coffin and Betsy Fretwell's office, well, how can we help? What can we do? Economically, the city is still very, very challenged, but we've been exploring and working on ways that we may be able to work together in a meaningful way. I'd love for you to say a word or two, Scott, about the project.
I too was not prepared to make any comments, but I'll be glad to. This is one of those projects where when we looked at it, we said this is going to be one of those important things that really helps round out and make downtown even a greater place than what it is right now. If you look at one of those things that's missing in our downtown that you generally see in great cities, we don't have a great art museum. And just as a side note, we've worked a metric at the city of the impact that the arts and cultural facilities have had downtown over the last 5 years. If you total up Life is Beautiful, First Friday, the Ma Museum, the Smith Center, the Neon Museum, you put all that together, it's generated 1.2 million visitors, new visitors that are coming downtown that weren't here before. Now that's the same as an NHL or NBA arena. So the arts, I think, are probably contributing more to the revitalization and the rebirth of downtown than anything we've got going. So this is one of those projects that just adds to that, to the venues that we already have, and makes downtown a greater place. So from the city's perspective, it's probably a very important component to what we're trying to do in the revitalization of downtown. And we're going to look creatively, work creatively with the Luminous Park and Modern team to do everything we can to make this happen.
Thank you. And then keeping everything moving along briskly, we're going to have Eric Strain from Assemblage Studios and Drew kind of take you through a couple of boards so you can have a sneak peek These are concept drawings here, so please come on up, Eric and Drew. And forgive us, the light is a little bit low over here, but after everybody has a chance to speak, we're going to set up the boards back here, all 4 or 5 of them, so that you can get closer and take a look, and we'll field answers to those questions. And then after Eric presents the structure, then we're going to have closing comments with Bob Coffin. Go ahead, Eric.
Thanks, Brent. This is a dream come true for us. We've actually been looking as a firm at downtown Las Vegas for the last 14 years. Had our office back and forth, and the arts have always played a very important role in our firm. So when Brent came to us almost 3 years ago to start this, it was a red letter day for us. It's a day we continue to mark as an achievement for the firm. The idea that was started with to have not just a museum, but to think about what a museum could be past just a repository for art. The idea that we could teach our young children what it means to be an artist, how to be an artist, not just in art, but in design and technology. Bringing those two things together for us was another reason we were really excited about being part of this. So the idea behind the museum, our work tends to want to focus on this place. It wants to be about this place. We use this environment so that it is about Las Vegas and specifically about downtown. The site that Brett talked about gives us a great opportunity as a community to really focus in and cherish what it means to be a gateway to the Arts District. And the one thing that we've talked about through this project all is how this links to other things, not just to this museum, but how it expands and links over to the Smith Center, to the Maw Museum, to East Fremont. As a community, we need to stop being so solely focused on individual projects, but how those projects can impact and have greater fulfillment of things outside of just this project. The lobby space will open up into a second floor gallery. And these are all just sort of initial ideas. Everything is still in flux. As Brett says, we're looking for community input. And then the part that became incredibly important to us was that Center for Creativity. And the advantage that this museum has that no other museum in the world will have will be the Center for Creativity. The idea that that opens up into outdoor spaces. It's not just a classroom that we've all grown up in here, unfortunately, in Las Vegas, but you're in a room with no natural light. These education facilities are meant to be opened and expanded to the outdoors, so that educational process is a continuation of thought and of energy and excitement that happens in an indoor and outdoor space. So, Brett, turn it back over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. And then we have some closing comments by Bob Coffin here, and then we'll open up for Q&A.
Thank you, Brett. Well, I've been waiting for a long time for this to start to become public, and I think it's over a year ago since we met, and you and Julie and I, over your magic piano on the ground floor of the gallery. And we talked about this, and I was listening, because it's 95% listening when Brett and Julie are concerned, because it's their concept. Brett's done a lot of fine things in this country and in this city. And I've been fortunate to be representing this downtown area for 30 years in either the state senate or the city council. But nothing has been quite as much fun as the city council. And what I've learned along with our favorite mayor, Carolyn Goodman, is that we have learned, and I know that other city people have learned, that the first word you say now in government should be yes. That you don't want to discourage things. It's very easy to say, I don't know, I'm going to have to check with my staff, or I don't know, I'm going to have to look at the rules, or I don't know if the code permits this kind of thing. What we have learned to do is say, yes, we're going to try to make it happen, obviously in fairness to all around, whether it might be landowners or business partners and others. And it's the, I think the attitude of yes that's helped downtown, because we believe that people should be allowed to take a risk. We believe that you see the development you see because we learned that you let people do what they think they can do with their business, and if they fail, so be it. But in this particular case, this is not a business It's a project, it's a work of love, a work of dedication to the arts for which Las Vegas is becoming known as a true destination place. And I cannot wait until it is finished. I cannot wait until you get it all down on paper. I understand what's going on here today. There's a fast movement. We can't waste any more time. You've done a lot behind the scenes. Now it's time to get it out in front. So I'm proud of you, Brett and Julie. You've got a wonderful team. I know it's going to be a real winner. And you're already surrounded by friends. Everyone here is a friend. And everybody who owns land around here is a friend. So there should be a lot of cooperation amongst all concerned. Best to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Here, absolutely.
You know, because you threw me the microphone in the first place, I thought you were going to say this big announcement about this wonderful modern contemporary art museum that we're getting here in Las Vegas. And of course, you said nothing. And Julie really didn't say anything, and I was trying to be polite and deferential and just sort of blah, blah, blah. But since they were in my office, and I had wonderful artists come into City Hall, Steve Lugori, who did the climber out at the Boulder Dam, and Hoover Dam. And so they were talking about the only foundry in southern Nevada was up in Boulder City. So anybody who wanted to use a foundry had to go up there. Anybody who was working in different types of material, but we had no place like that down here. So this wonderful museum, and these 2 acres, or is it 2.5? 2 acres. Not only the visual arts and a place to show the wares and talents of our wonderful people who live here, those in design, those who are innovators and working in new materials. It was a place to showcase. This is going to be a concrete facility where showmanship can take place, where there is education happening, where there's innovation and the excellence of creativity and technology in this 21st century contemporary art museum right here in the greatest place of all, Las Vegas. And so what was going to be happening was also training in how do you market art. How do people who are artists learn to sell their art or show their art? What are the wonderful things that can happen in collaboration with the different educational facilities here? You're so shy. I can't believe this, Brett. It is incredible. But this wonderful urban plaza, my gosh, we've been crying for that. And so the dreams that you have in your board, and Julie and Katie, who I've known since she was almost not born, almost. The board that is behind this is the most illustrious, bright board of directors that are into the arts, and when they're in the arts, they mean they're in it financially and spiritually and doing everything that they can possibly do. And the city is behind this, and we will do everything to make sure that this facility, these 2.5 acres, everything that you see here will happen. It will happen, and we congratulate you. We're thrilled. 2.5 years gone by finally, and it's really here. So congratulations, and I'm sorry I didn't get the chance to say it up front. I thought I was supposed to be quiet.
Well done.
I appreciate that, but honestly, I'm just the instigator, I'm just the catalyst. This is just the beginning, okay? This is going to be built by all of us, by the entire community. I'm donating the land, free and clear, to the Project for the Modern, so we have a site, and a good site that's visible and it's not hidden and accessible to everybody. But we have a long, long ways to go. And so at this point, Nikki is going to help moderate, and we're going to do a little quick Q&A, all right? And go easy on us because it's still early days. We don't have all the answers, but we'll do the best we can. Thank you all.
All right, who has questions? Okay.
We haven't talked about the art yet. Are you going to have an acquisition program, or will you be like bringing works on loan? And also the name downtown or modern contemporary. I was just wondering, are you going to be bringing art from both of us?
Thank you, Kristen. That's a good question. We are not, at this time, a collecting museum per se. That's not a heavy emphasis of it. But as time goes on, depending on the donations that we get, we can always expand that and re-examine that. The focus of the museum at this time is contemporary art, sculpture, and design. So there will be visual art exhibits as well as design exhibits.
Anybody else?
Is this an all them that they wanted to start the Las Vegas Museum of Contemporary Art?
At this time, I can't comment on that.
Okay, anybody else? Okay.
Hi, Brett.
James.
I've seen a lot of beautiful renderings over my years in Las Vegas, most of which are still empty land. It will never be built. So what is the process for getting this finished? Where's the money going to come from, and what's the timeline?
I'm going to give that one to Julie.
Who is that asking?
James.
Hi, Julie.
James. I love fundraising. So when I built with lots of wonderful community leaders 3 Square, we have an annual budget of $55 million. So when we say what the budget is, when the time is right, I feel 100% confidence in the donors we've been meeting with others, that this would be built. It would be built with a combination of fundraising, grants, public-private partnerships, individual donors. We'll do a lot of social media, a lot of creative ways. So the reason we've been quiet for the last 2 years is because we wanted to reach this point where we are, which is at approximately 2.4 million that we have thus far. So it will be a mix of traditional fundraising with some new social media that we'll be using to raise the money.
Any other questions?
Yeah, speaking of dollars, when we say that the city is going to support it, I guess this goes to Mayor Goodman or maybe Scott or somebody like that. Are we talking tax dollars on the front end or tax abatements, special improvement district? What kind of support are we doing as a city to get behind it?
I think first and foremost, we need to go into our own pockets and try and do this philanthropically, because this is a huge piece of the cultural center of our Southern Nevada corridor, the entire area. So our biggest hope, there's certainly grants that can be written. I know the city's going to do the best it can in every way that it can, because you're in the redevelopment area. And Bob Coffin is a miracle maker and does pound the dirt. But the main thing is, hopefully, and with the I don't know if you want to read your board of directors, you may know them alphabetically. When you hear this wonderful board and know Katie O'Neill, you know, in fact, that they make things happen. This is a private push. Really, we need to get it now. We need to make it happen. This is when building is less expensive, and we have this wonderful gift of land. So we are on a big start with commitments you already have.
All right, are you ready? We had a drum. We would do a drum roll. All right, so on the board of directors is Brett Wesley Sperry as board chairman, Denise Cashman as secretary, and Andy Shirk as board treasurer. Then, as you look at other board members, it is Quentin Abramo from Facilitech, Dr. Keith Bowman, who is one of the founding members of the Smith Center and named for the Bowman Pavilion there, Ed Borgato, Lewis Castle, and many of you know Lewis Castle, and Sam Sheary, our host for tonight, Alexandra Epstein from the El Cortez, J.F. Finn from Gensler, Andy Marisic, Kelly Nyquist Goldberg from Brownstein Hyatt Farber Schreck, and Brownstein donated $100,000 of pro bono leadership and has been doing a phenomenal job guiding us on all the legal activities. And Katie, we love Katie, and all of our board members. On the advisory board is, I'm just going to get my name, Tim Babington, Jenna Morton, Mark Brandenburg from Golden Gate, Jonathan Jossel, Hugh Anderson, Flo Rogers, Jim Stanford, Chris Ziske, and Jeffrey Beaumont. So that's the board and the advisory board, and at this stage we are still strategically looking at additional members.
That's a great idea. Great idea. All right, any other further questions?
At what point do you think you'll be announcing some of the art that will go in there? I know it's like a lot of collectors and people in the art world, they're reluctant to maybe give some money until they come out with the program.
That's a good question. It's going to take time for us to figure out what the programming is. And at some point in the next year or so, as we raise the money, we're going to need an executive director. And there go that person, the team that's going to actually operate the museum is going to be better positioned to answer that question.
All
Is there a
right.
time frame for the fundraising?
Absolutely. The next time we'll be coming back to you with information about the dollars is when we get the next major gift. We hit 2.4 million, and we're looking to get that next anchor gift. So we'd like to get, every time I see the mayor, she says hi, but then she says, how are you doing? Are you moving forward? So we're operating with a sense of urgency to get that next major gift, and we want to get the shovel in the ground in the very near future.
Very near future.
You know what, I'm going to get your name and I'm going to call you as soon as that donor says yes. we've been working with a lot of donors, and those of you who do fundraising know that it usually takes about 3 or 4 meetings in order to finalize the gift. So,
Practical question. That plot of land is relatively small for a project like this. Is there additional lands to be needed for things like parking and
do you know,
traffic control, things like that?
I thought so at first, because I looked at it and I thought, how are we going to do this? And I've learned so much from Eric Strain about really creative use of land. And interestingly, when you come over after the Q&A ends and you look at the land situation, it's amazing what can be done with creativity, which is perfect for the Center for Creativity. One more question. Yes, sir.
So when you say it's a mix of traditional and social media fundraising that you guys have in mind, does that mean that crowdfunding is on the table, like Kickstarter and Indiegogo?
There is no fundraising that we aren't considering. And I believe that it's just going to be the combination of those wonderful philanthropists who love the arts. And in every meeting we go into with philanthropists, we start the meeting saying, how important is this to you? And people will say, well, of course this is really important. So it will be a mix of traditional art philanthropists, we'll have youth philanthropists, we'll have the gamut. We want to make sure that everybody feels included, even if it's a class of high school students who want to come and give time, give a little bit of money, but it will be a huge mix of operations for fundraising.
Will this organization be drawing in other local art entities that are already in existence, such as like the CAC,
do you know,
people like that?
Collaboration is so important. Absolutely. Let me just say, what is your name?
Jeanette.
Jeanette, thank you. Collaboration is vital. It is the most important thing. And leading up to this point, we've had a series of strategic planning sessions, and in each of them we had one at Fifth Street School, we had another one at an art instructor's home. We went around and had groups of about 30 people to provide input. What you'll see moving forward from this night is a lot of backyard gatherings, a lot of living room gatherings where we want to get input and hear thoughts, because collaboration to me is the most important thing about this. Absolutely. Yes, Patrick.
Not a question, but a statement. To you, congratulations. Katie, to you, Brett, to the city, and all of those who have embraced this. This is absolutely terrific. As a matter of fact, when you started to really call out the board, I thought, this is a board that's relevant and contemporary. This is a board that's going to move this, and it's going to be able to handle any potential derailers. Okay? Congratulations to you. I wish you all the best. I know what the outcome will be because I know how you all are process oriented. So congratulations to you. This is absolutely exciting, and don't look at me for a dime. Just put it out there.
And Patrick,
for the entire art community, thank you. Nothing was
but the art community owes a lot to you for paving the way and getting us to where we are today, and we're delighted you are here tonight. And I love going back to the collaboration. There's a place for everybody to be able to weigh in. Hello?
Hi. What's the total price tag?
Are we ready to announce the price? $29 million. Yes. Oh yes, Kate, yes. Keep 2.4 in hand so far. So what, I'm going to ask Anna from my team, and Tiffany and Corey, raise your hands. And what we want to do is, whether it's with the Moonridge Group team or the SKG team, raise your hand. Please let us know if you would like to be on the list to come into a backyard gathering, when it gets colder, to a living room gathering. We want to hear from you. Mark Brandenburg, Advisory Board Member, we didn't see you. Hello. Mark. Hi. Let us know if you'd like to be on the list to come into small group settings. We want to hear from you. So on that note, Mayor, thank you. And yay! And Councilman, thank you. Scott Adams, Bill Arndt, Eric, all of you who have contributed to get us to this point. It's a true team effort, and we really look forward to working with every one of you. And Nikki, is there anything else we want to say in closing? Okay, any interviews, just let Nikki know, SKG, and so we'll conclude, and Sam Cherry, again, thank you so much for hosting us tonight. Have a great evening, everyone.